Good morning, everybody. It's 8:16 a.m. on April 11th, 2025. I just rewatched my 4 a.m. video, and I think I might have been a little too gloomy, a little too dreary. But that's how I felt then, and I don't take videos down. So I'm going to explain what's going on with me. It's not for the faint of heart. In late January, I believe January 28th, a welfare check was made to my home. My place of employment called my emergency contact. They were able to open up my door and found blood all over my apartment and me with a small dent in my wrist. Not a suicide attempt, Mark. And blood all over my back. At this point, I was hallucinating a reality that didn't exist. Now, a lot of people will automatically assume this was drug related. The only quote unquote drugs I had in my apartment were doctor prescribed. Could have I, in a blackout, woken up and taken more? Yes. Is that possible? Yes. Is that probable? Yes. If I'm going to do this YouTube station talking about my life, I need to do it all the way. I can't hide. I'm in recovery. I used to have a big, bad problem with drugs. And recently, I may have been overusing my medication. Actually, I was definitely overusing my medication. I was rushed to St. Clair's Hospital, at which time I was put on a ventilator. Curious why my voice sounds like this? Little thing on my nose. Now you know. I'm going to try to see an ear, nose, and throat doctor, but I currently don't have insurance. So we'll see where that goes. So I was rushed to the hospital, and my brain did something weird. It created these alternate realities while I was in the hospital of being in the hospital. So I created realities of being in the hospital, having a good time, watching the Super Bowl while the Super Bowl really happened, hanging out with the nurses socially. But those were the real nurses. I don't understand how this is possible, but it happened. My mind broke from reality while I was on a ventilator. I'm not going to say fighting for my life, because it could have been preemptive. I don't believe I stopped breathing, because I read my intake notes. And I believe if it said stop breathing, would have meant I stopped breathing. That wasn't there, so I'm not going to assume that. However, that came to an end. In early February, I'm going to assume the 3rd or the 4th, the reality I created and reality came together. And I woke up in the hospital bed, assuming the false reality was the reality. And started asking so many questions that made no sense to the workers of the hospital. Eventually, I put two and two together. I was living in a false reality. I stayed in the medical hospital till March 8th in the critical care unit, CCU for half of it, and the general unit for the other half. Again, I don't believe I was fighting for my life. At that point, my mother threatened to sue me for stuff I did not do. That's going to be another episode, but it was emotionally bearing and physically bearing. It was the worst time of my life. Not 4 hours and 23 minutes ago. As I said, I might have been a little too what's the word I'm looking for? Too negative. There's a better word, but it's just not coming to me now. After that, I was moved from one hospital, St. Clair's Denville, to St. Clair's Dover, which is about a 10-minute drive north. And I was put in the psychiatric medical care unit. You might think that's the psych ward. No, there's a unit above that, which is the psych ward. There I stayed till yesterday, April 10th, 2025. There I got to wear normal clothing, but it was very suffocating. It was a small unit which had very few activities. It was boring, but I made close relationships. Hopefully, those relationships will last, although I think I was giving out the wrong phone number. Most people stayed there maximum a week. However, I learned I have love for the 90s, early 2000s sitcom Reba. Yeah, the Reba McEntire show. And I love cartoon movies. I learned a lot about myself. And I'm grateful for that. And maybe all the time spent alone was not for naught. Yesterday, I went to a Narcotics Anonymous meeting. Anyone who knows me knows I used to be heavily involved. And then I felt like the fellowship turned on me. So I turned on the fellowship. In reality, it was all in my head. I surrendered. For anyone who doesn't know what that means, I said my previous clean time, which was 12 years, and another one for 12 months, was over. I'm starting fresh. Do I know I had to? Yes. I'm not gonna sulk and say, well, maybe I was taking the pills as prescribed. Maybe I was. But I probably wasn't. And the fact that they found me bloody in my apartment twice in the past 6 months since my father died. It was time to get a white key tag. Oh yeah, this happened back in October as well, which means I'm scared. I'm telling you, my audience, I'm scared this is going to happen again. And I'm going to black out. I don't know for sure the cause, which is why I'm going to outpatient in roughly an hour. Hopefully they can give me some answers. Or they can go within my head and give me some answers, 'cause I'm scared. Well, that's been the past 2 months. I may do more in-depth videos, like what exactly happened in the medical unit and the psychiatric unit. But that's a good overview. Hopefully you all got something out of this. I love you all. If you're going through something physical, call 911. If you're going through something emotional, call 988. There's nothing embarrassing about going through a mental health crisis. I'm going to talk more about that. I love you all.